when we are going further in our study of Bhagavad Gita. So we covered till here yesterday. So now we'll see how Prabhupada is mentioning how Arjuna himself accepted the Bhagavad Gita or understood the Bhagavad Gita. So we need to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna and take these message or instructions as it was accepted by Arjuna. What was his mood? How, in what mood, and after accepting, what did he do? So we need to follow his footsteps. So okay, these are a couple of verses, so I'll just cover this part. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradas Tatha Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Shaiva Bravishime Sarvam Etadritam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahi Te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidurdeva Nadanava. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the greats." So Arjuna, from his side, when he understood initially what he was considering, okay, Krishna is my friend, but in second chapter we will see second chapter he accepts Krishna as a supreme person, as a spiritual master. He knows that he is a supreme personality of Godhead. That's why there's no one higher than him who can actually get him out of his you know uh, the confusion, delusion which he was in. So he accepts Krishna as a spiritual master and takes the position of a disciple himself. And then after hearing the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in 10th chapter, he expresses his realization that yes, you are the supreme personality of God, you are the original personality, you are the supreme absolute truth. At the same time, one may think that okay, he's his friend, so he's just flattering him or something. But no, he also mentions that how the great sages, the great personalities, have also accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Sometimes when we study in the Bhagavad Gita, we may not understand how this is. Okay, there is a nice pastime. In one of the verses, Krishna says, Tesam satata yuktanam ye paripasitam something vahamyaham. So the translation is the one who is exclusive, one who worships me with an exclusive devotion to him. For him I preserve what he has and I carry what he lacks. So there was a devotee, I forgot his name. There was a great Brahmana, he was a devotee only, Vaishnava. So he was thinking, oh, how come he carries, Krishna personally provides, he carries, he preserves. Krishna personally doesn't come. Like, okay, his energy, through his energy he might be providing. So how come there's something wrong in this verse? What did he do? He struck that particular, those words. And then he went for his noontime rituals to the nearby water body to take bath or something like that. And so meanwhile, two boys came with loads of foodstuffs and all, and they said to the wife of this devotee that your husband has sent us this send us to give these things to you. Then the wife said, my husband. Oh, so many items. From where did he get so many items? No, no, it must not be my husband, like that. So they said, no, 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 he has sent us. You take this, otherwise he will beat us. So she was like, my husband will beat? He's not so cruel. Then those two boys, they said, no, you see, they showed their back to her. Let's see how he has beaten us. So there are marks of beating. If you hit someone, sometimes you get the marks on the back, like. So they were so she was surprised and also very angry, like how come her husband could beat these small two little kids like this. So he took all those things. She took all those things and prepared nice offerings and all. And when her husband came back, he was like, oh, from where did you get so many things. Then she was, oh, how could you be so cruel? You were you beat you were beat How could you beat those two boys? They were so small boys. You beat them like this, like that. There's a which two boys? The devotee said, which two boys? I didn't send anybody. Then she said, no, you sent, and they also showed me the marks of beating on their back. Then he realized in the morning he had he he had struck few words from the Bhagavad Gita, and then he realized that how Krishna actually he had come. Those two boys were none other than Krishna and Balram. So then he realized that. So why I said this is, here it was mentioned that O Krishna, I totally accept as truth that all that you have told me, but sometimes we fail to have that faith on Krishna, that yes, he'll provide everything. Devotee, I have to be just exclusive devoted to him and not worry about anything. We fail in that faith of ours. But we can see that how Arjuna is accepting, so we should try to follow his footsteps. Okay, so next, these two paragraphs, can someone please read, Mataji's? Anjali, Mataji, would you like to read these two paragraphs? Okay, I assume you are somewhere outside or something. Okay, Rajni Mataji, are you available to read?
Yes, Mataji. After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Parabrahma, the Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahma, but the Supreme living being or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Brahman. Parandhama means that he is the supreme rest or abode of everything. Pavitram means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Saswatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adi Devam, the original supreme personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn, and the greatest. Now, one may think that because Krishna was the friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of a flattery. But Arjuna, just to drive out of this kind of doubt from the minds of readers of Bhagavad Gita, sustains these phrases in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as Supreme Personality of Godhead. and the darkness are the two destructive knowledge. It helps the right. It unexpected say to be also of law given by grace means the even the this where so it uh, the or the next one or
Hi Krishna Mataji. No, two paragraphs only, then we will discuss. Thank you, Mataji.
another.
Hi Krishna. Yeah, you completed two paragraphs, no? So two paragraphs only, then we'll discuss little bit. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So, okay. So after hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Arjuna, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what did Arjuna do? Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahma. So this verse, what we just read. So after hearing Param, he accepted the Supreme. He's glorifying the Krishna with these words. So what does it mean? Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. Every living entity, now Prabhupada is giving a little explanation. So there are two terms, Brahman and Param Brahman, or the Supreme Brahman. So everyone is Brahman, means what? Everyone is spiritual, but the supreme living entity, that's the supreme personality of Godhead, he is called as Param Brahman or Param Brahma or Supreme Brahman. Param Dhama means he is the supreme rest or abode of everything. That is the spiritual abode. Pavitram means he is the purest, untainted by material. He is not touched by material contamination. Now we get affected by material contamination, but he is not. Even if he comes in different incarnations to this material world, he doesn't get affected by material contamination. Purusham means that he is a supreme enjoyer. So people, many people raise objection, like they raise objections or kind of criticize that, oh, Krishna, he had 1100 wives and he was so like that, he's not a very of doesn't set a good example like that. But no, practically if we see, he is a supreme enjoyer. If you have a car, if you are the owner of the car, you have all the right to use that car, to drive that car in any way you like, you know. But if somebody, your neighbor, comes and just without asking you or anything, he just takes the keys and goes, takes the car, then what will you do? You will call the police, that because he became a thief here. Similarly, we try to enjoy in different ways, which is actually belonging, the things, everything is belonging to the Lord. But he is the supreme, he is the owner, he is the creator, so he doesn't need to take anybody's permission or anything. He can enjoy it any way he likes. So there is no question of why he is doing like this or like that, because he is the creator, he is the owner of everything. So he is the supreme enjoyer, Shashwatam, eternal, Divyam, transcendental, Adidevam, the original supreme personality of Godhead, Ajam, unborn, and Vibhum, the greatest. Now, one may think that because Krishna was a friend of Arjuna, so Arjuna is telling all these things, kind of flattering or something. But that is, but I mean, in order to make that very clear for the general public, Arjuna also states that it is not me who is accepting you as the supreme personality of Godhead, but the great sages, the great personalities, great authorities, they have also accepted Krishna as a supreme Lord. These great personalities to distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted. Um, these are the okay, like he names some of them: Narada, Asita, Devula, Vyasdev, etc. Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand and that he cannot be known even by the great demigods. Now, a common person cannot know a great personality, the president or someone. We cannot know, okay, officially what is displayed, okay, name is like this, he has this family background, this, but personally, we don't have a relation with with the president, for example. But one who is very intimate or very very close to the president, he's like, they're like the friend, they're like friend, they don't need to maintain some formalities or anything. Similarly, when um, any common man cannot understand, but Arjuna, because he is a devotee of the Lord, and devotee is always very intimate with the Lord, so Krishna is revealing about him to Arjuna. Arjuna also says that the personality, okay, cannot be understood even by the great demigods. This means that the Lord cannot even be known by personalities greater than human beings. So, how can a human being understand Lord Sri Krishna without his becoming a devotee? So, the qualification needed is to become a devotee. Okay, next is okay, I'll read the next part. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, or should he think that, nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Because why it is said? Because there are people even in India who think. I know, I had a colleague who would say that, okay, Krishna is also a person like us, right? He also took birth, and he also, even in India, people are there who do not accept him as a supreme personality of God. They consider him as an ordinary person like ourselves. So this is great, our being unfortunate. So Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So according to statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. And with that submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it's very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it's a great mystery. It will be revealed more in details in the 9th chapter. Also, why it is called Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. It's a secret. It's though you see, you go into any ISKCON temples, the classes and everything is held open. Everybody can attend, Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita classes and all. But still, it's a secret. Why? Because the mood with which one hears or one tries to study the Bhagavad Gita, that is what that's what matters. That's what makes the difference. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nescience of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna was also in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. That anxiety may be in different way. Oh, I have this health problem. Oh, I have this problem in my house. Oh, I have this relationship problem. Oh, I have that job, some problem with job. Everybody has some or the other problem. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. Our existence is eternal, but somehow or other we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which doesn't exist. So, in the material world, now we are all spiritual beings. So, by nature, we don't want to die because we are eternal. So, this concept of putting an end to one's existence in the form of death is not very much acceptable. That's why no one wants to get diseased or die or anything. So, in one sense, this material world is like a foreign land for us. Like you go to a foreign country, uh, you know, Like that, this material world is like a foreign country for us, because we are eternal. The living entity is also Sat Chit Ananda. Means what? Sat is eternal, Chit is all knowledgeable, and Ananda is all blissful. But in the material, when we identify with our material body, then what is our position? Asat, Achit, and Nirananda. We become our, because this body is temporary, then we don't have knowledge. We may, because I may be sitting in a room, I can see what is there in front of my eyes. I cannot see or perceive what is there beyond the walls or behind me. So our knowledge is, everything is imperfect. And then um, Nirananda, we are always in some kind of distress. So Nirananda. So because our nature is something, but we are put into an existence which is completely opposite to our nature. That's why it doesn't, match. Right. That's why we keep suffering in this material world. So I'll stop here. If anybody has anything to ask, or you want to add something regarding these few paragraphs, then please feel free to do so. Either you can speak or you can put it in the chat box. Hare Krishna. Anybody has anything? Okay, everyone can share one point. Probably you can put it in the chat box as well. Anjali Mataji, Aditi Mataji, I know you cannot speak, but probably you can put something in the chat box. Pramila Mataji, you too. Rajni Mataji, do you have anything to say? Maybe you can just share at least one point.
No, noted.
Okay, then I have a question for everyone. Um, that why do you think that we should practice bhakti? Isn't there so many people who do not practice bhakti? Why should we practice bhakti? Is there something great in this? Okay, probably everyone is busy, but you can take it as a homework if you want like to. So we will close for now. Okay, pranayama bhakti is the only process to get Krishna prema and go back to home, back to Godhead. Why do we want to go back to Godhead? People are very happy, isn't it? Many people everyone is happy around us, they don't practice bhakti, they think that yes, I'm very much um, I don't need this, what is this chanting and all, it's just waste of time, isn't it? Many people think like that. So how do you convince someone, or forget about convincing someone else, how would we convince ourselves that yes, bhakti is something superior, I must do it? um, why there are so many people we see around, practically no one would be practicing or no one would be interested, everybody likes to eat, sleep, mate and defend. So why I should put my time in this? Let me just use my time for making money or power, position, which will give me a feeling of security, isn't it? So why we should be concerned about going back to Godhead? Okay, next Anjali Mataji mentioned to revive our original relationship with Krishna and go back to God. A mental world is full of suffering. Okay, they are under illusion and have forgotten their original duty and human responsibility. So, okay, I take that point. Material world is full of suffering. Probably theoretically we understand, but sometimes, most of the time, we ourselves forget it. That's why we do not take bhakti very seriously. If we really understand that it is full of suffering, then we ourselves will take it very seriously. So if we are not that serious, if we actually look into our own heart, which means we don't realize that it is full of suffering, material world is full of suffering. Okay, I take this point. Okay, people in general, they are under illusion. um, yes, we can say. How under illusion? Because whatever happiness, it is not permanent. At one point of time, somebody gets goes through some disease or some tension, confusion, whatever. But nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be in a distressed state. But they have to go through. It's forced upon them, which shows that practically no one can say that I'm really happy. If we see all, even 2 3 days, somebody would have got some mosquito bite, somebody is stuck in the traffic and getting irritated. So practically we cannot, no one can say, claim that yes, I am the happiest person. No. There are people who may say that okay, unless we experience distress, how would we realize the meaning of happiness? So they are the greatest foolish people. Nobody will like near and dear ones to die or to suffer. Then how can you say that oh, this distress is so nice? No one will say that distress is so nice. People just throw something in the air, just to counter argue, but that is a very impractical reason. Okay, anybody else to um, to convince, or how you convince yourself that bhakti is something superior, and I should practice it, even though we see that practically 99 more than 99% of the world population is not into bhakti. Why should I be like an odd one out?
Actually, the things that we are getting in the material world is temporary. Uh, so, the material things which we are getting is temporary. So the happiness we are getting from the material world is also temporary. So if we want a permanent happiness, a blissful life, so we have to do bhakti.
Okay, thank you so much, Masaji. Yes, whatever we get in the material world, as we were just discussing also, it's all temporary. Whether happiness, I mean, of course, distress nobody wants, but happiness also, it's temporary. So, um, uh, but practically, if we see, uh, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, we'll come across it, that four kinds of people actually come to Krishna consciousness: Artha, Artharthi, Jigyansu, and what is that? one who is distressed, one who is um, in want of wealth, and one who is inquisitive, and one who is in knowledge, with knowledge, like he has knowledge and he's trying to apply it like that. So four kind of people come. Now practically everyone is going through these everybody is wanting wealth, everybody, people may be inquisitive, some people may be but not everyone actually comes to Krishna consciousness. So um, practically if we see, a very fortunate soul may take interest, and sometimes many times we come across during book distribution and all, devotees come across, like there'll be a couple for example, if the husband or the wife will be interested, oh what is this book, let me just take this book, she'll ask the other spouse, and the other spouse will say, oh what is this, no no we don't want this, let's go. So uh, so practically if we see, though one is not able to express, sometimes they distress, but everybody is actually in distress, because all happiness and all, it's all temporary, and there's no satisfaction. We try to do patchwork to cover up our distress, but people do not know that there is a way by which we can come beyond all our distress. Like Krishna consciousness is a solution to all the problems. One may say, to all the problems, how there is so much of terrorism, there is so much of crime in the society and all. How can Krishna consciousness become bring be the solution to all these things? No, it is a solution, because by practicing Krishna consciousness, all our those tendencies to commit crime, those tendencies to think nonsense, those tendencies of the mind to be engaged in unnecessary activities, it's all reduced, it's all nullified. Then one can actually, this material world can also become a paradise. Now, because somehow or other we have become those fortunate souls to come into Krishna consciousness, we should put all our effort to take it seriously, because we do not know what is going to happen in our next life. If we lose this human form of life, we do not know what we are going to be in our next life. So at least we should take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, who will practically heal, because he takes that responsibility to deliver us from the cycle of birth and death. At least we should come to that state. So yes, so I think we'll close for now, and thank you so much Matjis for participating, for answering that. And actually, more than convincing others, we have to be convinced ourselves. The more we are convinced, the more we can tell somebody else, and that will be influential. I may tell someone, I may tell you so many things, but if I myself am not convinced, then my words is not going to have any effect. In the other side also, if you are convinced, whereas the other person you are trying to tell to is not very receptive, then they may not take also. So both the sides are there, but yeah, we have to be at least convinced. Whether we can save somebody or not, we can help somebody or not, that is a secondary thing, but at least we can convince, we can save ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. So with this we'll stop here. We'll continue the next paragraph tomorrow. Okay, practically tomorrow, now God Purnima is coming, so tomorrow we will have a little kirtan and try to discuss about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because God Purnima is coming, so we'll try to meditate on that. Thank you so much Matris for joining. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.